This one here is the typical logistic workflow. You will see here the shipper, exporter, consignee, receiver, importer, freight forwarder, service provider, and logistics partner. So this is the whole workflow of a certain project shipment. So if you are a shipper, your responsibility, whatever is the Incoterm for that, your responsibility is to produce and pack the shipment. If your Incoterm for that certain project is X works, then your responsibility is only to produce and pack the shipment. That's it. You produce and pack the shipment, raise your invoice, send your invoice to your client. They will arrange the payment, whatever payment terms you have with your client, if it's 50-50 or is it full upfront payment or whatever, progressive payment. Whatever is your agreement on the payment, you do it. So if you have produced the item and have it packed, ready for them to collect, then your responsibility is terminated in that stage if the Incoterm is X works. Okay, so let's say that the project is a DDP case, door delivered case. This will be the whole process. This will be the whole program of the project. As a shipper, supplier, or exporter, your responsibility is to produce the cargo and pack the shipment. You have to book the shipment with your tied up freight forwarder or service provider. You have to provide export documents, commercial invoice, and packing list. Once the freight forwarder or your service provider or your logistics partner receive those documents, they will be able to book the shipment with the shipping line or with the airline. After that, once the booking is done and there's a confirmed sailing date or flight date, your cargo will be collected. So if it's a sea freight cargo, your freight forwarder will arrange the container placement in your warehouse or in the supplier's warehouse, wherever it is. Your freight forwarder will process export documentation, export clearance and documentation and declaration. So if it's coming from, if the cargo is lying in China, it will be processed for export and it will be between Chinese customs, obviously. So once the export, the procedure and customs clearance and declaration is done, this container will be given access to enter the port. Once the container is in the port, the container will be scheduled for loading on the vessel or on the ship. So deliver container in the seaport, vessel sails out of point of loading to the point of destination. Port of loading is what we call the origin port. The POD or port of destination is the destination port. So all this process is managed by your supplier, logistics supplier, and everything that is happening, he is giving you a detailed update. So once this thing is done, the FF or freight forwarder will keep updating you, shipper, that the cargo is loaded on the vessel and it has sailed as per schedule. Your freight forwarder will be tracking the shipment and keep updating you. And you have to keep updating all the stakeholders. The stakeholders and the client, of course. So once that is done, freight forwarder will share with you the house BL. House BL is where all those shipper, consignee, cargo details are mentioned. So as a shipper, you as an exporter or the supplier for this, you will check that document, and if everything is in order, you will approve and tell them, it's all approved, you can print the house BL. So once the house BL is printed, among other things, you have to arrange your commercial invoice, packing list, certificate of origin, etc., and share and send it to your client or to your broker. Shipper arranges other pertinent shipping documents for client or importer. Full set of shipping documents for customs clearance, BL, commercial invoice, packing list, certificate of origin will be sent out to your client, importer, customs broker. Once the vessel arrives in the POD or port of destination, importer or their customs broker will have to clear it. So the procedure is customs broker pay the customs duty on behalf of the client if they have an account. So this payment is done by the customs broker themselves. As for the import VAT, this VAT has to be paid by the customer itself, the importer. So once your finance department paid the VAT to the government, only then can the customs broker can pull the container out from the port and deliver it to the warehouse. So once the goods is in the warehouse and acknowledge, once the goods is delivered to the warehouse, the importer, the receiver, or the consignee will have to offload the cargo and empty the container. They will then sign the manifest that everything, all cargo is received. They have counted, the quality is okay, blah, blah, fine. So that's the closure, that's the end of the flow.